Ladies and gentlemen, and Pokemon fans of the world, Crasher Chase is back, and allow me to introduce to you another Pokemon X and Y analysis video featuring Dragalge. And this is a Pokemon that I've been very much looking forward to analyzing and coming up with set ideas. Now, before I get underway with all that, I want to apologize for not uploading as frequently as I normally would. Um, with the new training and dieting regimens that I have been going through, because I do plan on competing in March at a bodybuilding show that's held in my hometown, um, I have been extremely exhausted, and unfortunately, that has hampered my abilities to give you guys high quality Pokemon analysis videos. So, I wasn't going to make a Pokemon analysis video and be like all tired and groggy and boring. So I figured, you know what? Since I'm here and I'm amped up, energized, and ready to go, I'm going to be going on with Dragalge and a couple other Pokemon analysis videos that I will be making shortly after. So I hope you enjoy it. So sit back, relax, and listen to what I have to say. We're going to be going over things like its typing, abilities, and stats. So with Dragalge, it sports the very interesting and unique typing of Poison and Dragon. And with this, you are actually neutral to that of Fairy type moves, as opposed to you being weak to Fairy type moves if you're just a Dragon type. And what's also good about this typing is that Dragalge is one of few dragons that can actually stand up to fairy types because of its poison typing, and that fairy types are weak to poison. So I think that's really cool. And as for its abilities, the first one it gets is known as Poison Point, which is a defensive ability in which if your opponent was to make physical contact with you, you would have a 30% chance of inflicting poison on them, which is very cool. So if you want to try and fake me out with all them leads, then go ahead. You're about to get Poison Point. And the next ability that it has is known as Poison Touch, which basically works in reverse of Poison Point, in which you make physical contact with your opponent and you have a 20% chance to poison them. Now, unfortunately, this guy does not get Poison Jab, which is a physical type move that is a poison elemental and has a 30% chance to poison your opponents, and along with the Poison Touch ability would make this move very deadly. But unfortunately, this guy does not get this move, which really sucks. Now, as for its hidden ability, which has not yet been released, it's known as Adaptability, which is a very, very deadly ability in which that it boosts your same type attack moves, that being Poison and Dragon in this situation, to another 50%. So along with the same type attack bonus, which is 50%, and with the adaptability boost, which is another 50%, you're going to be firing off 200% damage for all your stab moves. Now, I really don't know why Game Freak decided to troll us and not make this ability available for, Pokemon Safari or Hordes. Uh, that really sucks, and it really kind of irks me. But whatever, that's just something we got to live with for right now. They might release it at some point in time down the road. Now, as for its stats, just take a look at this. It really doesn't have any bad stats defensively and offensively, but taking a look at its speed, it's at a very abysmal 44, which really sucks. Now, its HP is at 65, which on paper doesn't really seem all that good, but you pair it up with its base 90 defense, which is really respectable, and its base 123 special defense, this guy can take some hits. And as for its offenses, its base 75 attack is alright, and its base 97 special attack is very good. And along with the adaptability boost, it's going to be hitting very, very hard. So with all that said, I'm going to be going over the first set that I have for you. So with the first set here, we're going to be turning Dragalge into quite the fearsome special attacker. The nature that we're going to be giving it is a modest nature to fully increase its special attack to its maximum potential. And as for the ability, it's going to be Adaptability, which is an ability that, as I said, has not yet been released. Why, Game Freak? Why do you do this to us? It's like waving a piece of steak in front of a caged animal. oh man, this is not cool. Not cool at all, man. Uh, and people are probably going to think that, well, because that adaptability is not released, this set is not going to be legit. Well, this set will be legit once or even if Nintendo decides to release it, which I'm sure they will. Now, as for the items of choice, the first one is Choice Specs, which locks you into one move but powers up your special type attacks by 50%. As for the next item of choice is known as Expert Belt, and what Expert Belt does is powers up super effective hits by 20%. So this is actually a very, very good item to have. And the next item that we have is known as Life Orb, which powers up your moves by 30%, but takes away a tenth of your HP at the end of each turn. And then we have Black Sludge, which is a poison type version of Leftovers. And this actually can be a pretty viable item to have so that you can have more staying power. Now, as for the EV spread, we have 252 HP EVs, 252 EVs in special attack, and 4 into speed. Now, as for the move set, Sludge Bomb and Draco Meteor are going to be basically the two moves that we're mainly going to be using and taking full advantage of adaptability because, along with its stab and the adaptability boost, and if you decide to throw in a Choice Specs adaptability stab Draco Meteor. Um, yeah, I can't picture very many Pokemon surviving after that. Like, man. And Sludge Bomb is also a very good alternative to hit fairy types. Now, please note that the combination of poison and dragon type moves are completely walled by that of Klefki and Mawile. And Carbink, while it doesn't have an immunity to poison type moves, will take very little from it. So that's why we have the next two moves, which are basically coverage moves, that being Shadow Ball and Focus Blast. And this provides flawless coverage. And I also want to mention that Draco Meteor has a side effect, that being that it lowers your special attack by 2 stages. So if you were to use a move like this, you're going to be switching out a lot, possibly. So that's why I have some moves to consider here. We have Dragon Pulse, which is a very powerful alternative to Draco Meteor, and it also is perfectly accurate, unlike Draco Meteor, which has 90% accuracy, while Dragon Pulse has 100. And it does not have the recoil of a -2 special attack drop. And the next move that we have is Sludge Wave, which is a slightly more powerful version of Sludge Bomb, but has a lesser percentage to poison your opponents. Sludge Bomb has 30, while Sludge Wave has only 10. But if you want to have that extra base power, then go with Sludge Wave. And then we have Thunderbolt and Surf. Thunderbolt and Surf are fairly good moves to have, and I thought I'd mention them so that if you wanted to target certain threats, or if your team is threatened by a certain Pokemon and you want to have these two moves, then you're more than welcome to do so. But that basically wraps up this set. It's time to move on to the next one. So this next set here aims to turn Dragalge into quite the defensive Pokemon that's going to be very irritating. The nature that we're going to be giving it is known as a relaxed nature, which lowers its already crappy speed and increases its physical defense. Now, as for the ability, we're going to be going with Poison Point in this instance because it's a very good defensive ability to have. And seeing how you're aiming to take hits, especially if they're contact moves, your opponents have a 30% chance to be poisoned. Now, the item for choice is going to be Black Sludge because it's the best item to have that recovers your HP at the end of each turn, and it's best suited for a poison type Pokemon. Now, as for the EV spread, we have 252 into HP, 200 into defense, and 56 into special defense, giving you some pretty well-rounded bulk in both the physical and the special side. Its special side is already really high, but I thought that I'd invest a little bit because its physical defense with 200 investment is going to be really high, so you want to try and balance it out. Now, as for the move set, I have Toxic Spikes, Dragon Tail, Rest, and Sleep Talk. Now, this set is basically aiming to set up your entry hazards to poison whoever switches in that is intact with the ground and basically phase out your opponents with Dragon Tail, and then rest and sleep talk to keep you healthy, and also to use any random moves while you're asleep, that being rest talk. And overall, this here's a pretty good move set to really annoy your opponents and cripple a lot of walls that can otherwise give you a very hard time. Now, I have some moves to consider here. I have Toxic and Protect, and if you want to use that over Rest and Sleep Talk, you're more than welcome to do so. And along with Scald being an alternative way to inflict a status, that being Burn, to further cripple your opponent's physical attack along with causing residual damage, then you're more than welcome to do so. And then we have Sludge Bomb as a good way to possibly poison your opponents. Um, so if you want to run a set like Sludge Bomb, Dragon Tail, Toxic, and Protect, being a more offensively defensive Pokemon, or if you want to be straight up defensive, then this is the set for you. Um, there's really not much else to say about this set. I mean, I think it speaks for itself. But that's about it for this set. It's time to move on to another set. Now, this next set here is a set that people are not going to be expecting as much as, the special attacking set or the defensive set. So this here is a really good way to throw off your opponents. The nature that we're going to be giving it is a Brave nature to increase its attack and lower its speed. And the abilities, we have Poison Touch and Adaptability. And seeing how we are going to be using contact moves in this set, then Poison Touch is a more viable ability to have. However, Adaptability increases your same type attack moves by 50%, which is also something to keep in mind. Now, as for the items, we have Expert Belt, Life Orb, and Black Sludge. Expert Belt, as I said, powers up super effective moves by 20%. Life Orb powers up your moves by 30% at the cost of 10% of your HP. And Black Sludge to recover your HP at the end of each turn, giving you a little more staying power. Now, as for the EV spread, we have 252 into HP, 156 into attack, and 100 into special attack, giving you some pretty well-rounded offense from both the physical and the special side. And as for the moveset, we have Sludge Bomb, Dragon Pulse, Play Rough, and Aqua Tail. Now, Sludge Bomb and Dragon Pulse I really don't need to explain. They're special attacks, and they're also stab. So if you were to use something like Adaptability, then you'll have these moves powered up to pretty threatening levels. Now, Play Rough is a physical fairy-type move, and I find it very hilarious that a Dragon-type Pokemon, especially like Dragalge, gets Play Rough. But you know what? It has a 10% chance to lower your opponent's attack by one stage, so this is a pretty solid move to have. And along with the Poison Touch ability, you now have the added 20% chance to poison your opponents, which is actually really cool. And along with Aqua Tail being a pretty solid base 90 water type move, along with the Poison Touch ability, this move is actually a pretty threatening one to have as well, to cover those that happen to be weak to water type moves. Now, moves to consider. We have Sludge Wave and Draco Meteor, which, again, are two moves that really need no explanation, because not only are they stab, but if you get the adaptability boost, again, powered up to threatening level, very little survives, this and that. The next move we have is Dragon Tail, which is a stab type move, and also allows you to phase out your opponents, as I mentioned in the previous set. And if you choose Poison Touch, then this move also has the added 20% chance to poison your opponents. So even if you phase them out and you poison them, that's going to cause severe irritation on their end, which is very hilarious. The next move that we have is Waterfall, which is a more accurate but weaker version of Aqua Tail. And it also has the benefit of flinching your opponents. However, seeing how you have a really low speed to begin with, you're not going to be really outpacing and outflinching anyone anytime soon, unless you decide to run Trick Room. And if that being the case, you want to lower this guy's speed IV to 0, which is very difficult. Um, and basically, what Trick Room does is any Pokemon that was originally slower than you now becomes faster than you. It basically reverses the speeds, so to speak. Now, the next move that we have is known as Shadow Ball, and it offers really good coverage to ghost types, and I find ghost types are extremely threatening since only dark and normal are the ones who can stand up to it. Since the steel type nerf has happened, ghost type moves I think are severely overpowered now. And then we also have Focus Blast, and along with Shadow Ball, you can provide very, very decent coverage. And then we have Thunderbolt and Surf as two other alternative moves to throw in somewhere in this set, should you desire. So guys, that basically wraps up this set. I certainly hope you enjoyed this set, this video on Dragalge. Um, I will be sure to upload more Pokemon analysis as soon as I can and when time allows it. If I hadn't said this already, the new training and dieting regimens that I am going through is a huge shock to my body, and I am absolutely exhausted as I spend all my energy pretty much at the gym. But I'm going to be making a more determined effort to making more Pokemon analysis videos since we are basically coming down to the wire. We are almost done, guys. So just hang tight. And as always, have a good day, and I will see you next upload. This is Crasher Chase signing off.